Sextortion has become a pressing and deeply concerning issue across the United States, particularly affecting children and teenagers. In fact, sextortion is the fastest growing scam, disproportionately affecting teenage boys globally, and has been linked to more than 27 suicides in the U.S. alone. As digital platforms have become an integral part of everyday life, online threats and coercion have escalated, putting countless young people at risk and leaving some children and teens to think that suicide is their only escape. Today we'll talk about this very real threat to our children, how to identify it, and how to stop it.
If ever your life could be a true crime podcast episode, then this podcast is for you. We're about to embark on a roller coaster of emotions, insights, survival, and stories about escape. So buckle up and let the journey begin.
Oof. Do you think it's surprising that, like, when people think of, like, sextortion, do you think society often thinks of it being more geared towards girls, not boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they do.
But the data shows otherwise.
Yeah.
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 All right. So
where are you escaping this week?
I am escaping, I don't know, like lots of different things, but the weather has been super duper weird. And so it's been really, really cold at times.
Really weird.
Really weird. And then it gets really hot for like a few days.
For January, February,
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
And so like looking at the even the outcasts, like my best friend lives down in Florida. And the other day it was 81 degrees, and now they've got like lows in the 20s.
Yes.
And I'm just like unheard of.
Well, my son lives in Miami, and he
Yeah.
keeps texting like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's like, I just left South Dakota.
Oh,
You
dear.
brought the weather with
Yeah.
you. Yeah. What about you? What are you escaping?
Well, we're escaping
The
the escape pod. So big news, everybody. This is our last escape pod show, but do not fear. Never fear.
It's not our last show.
It's not the last show. It's just the last escape pod show. So this is just it's a name and a brand and stuff that's never really worked for us the way we wanted it to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we put our thinking caps back on, and we have we'll be rebranding the show. When you see us next week, it's going to be an entirely new, not the studio, but the branding. And so we will be launching next episode, Crisis and Consequences.
Yes.
Because for whatever reason, you guys just really like murder and death and blood and gore and stuff like that. So we're going to lean into that more. Because again, all of this is a podcast for a cause. Crisis and Consequences will be still a podcast with a purpose. And so all of those resources and anything we can grow out of it is still going to support our nonprofit. But yeah, so this is going to be our last show in this format.
Yes.
And so that's what we're escaping today.
I'm excited.
I am too.
I'm excited. It's, closing one door, but like, we were talking earlier, it's still going to be same us. So same great podcast.
I can't wait for you to see the artwork. I was out of my chair, out of my mind and for those of you that don't know, Cara Beth is our creative genius behind anything in the One Heart universe, branding, all of the logos, how anything looks, what the public sees. She's amazing. And this one, stellar. It was the best one ever. I am jazzed. I can't wait to show you. So you'll get to see it next week. You have to turn back in.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I had fun. It was, like I said, it kind of came to me, and I think it fits. So I'm excited for y'all to see it. And
yeah, the only thing my daughter said, what's with the sugar skull? And I'm like, the what?
Oh, I don't know what sugar. I know it was because it was like the Day of the Dead.
Yeah. And I know that, and you know
I wanted
that.
something more feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like, it's called a sugar skull. I'm like, well, look, I've never heard that. Clearly, I'm in the wrong generation. But
does that mean something we need to know?
Why is it not just a skull? I'm like, because we need the color.
I needed the color. It wasn't feminine. At first, it was just like, I was like, okay. And I looked at it and I was like, this just looks like another. I needed it to be us.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, what could I do? And I was like, roses? No. You know what I mean? And then I was
Roses
like,
and roses
so then when I thought of the
way over
roses, I was like, ooh, what if we did the Day of the Dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we did it in because everything that we do is in one heart branded colors, essentially. It's in some variation of that. And that's why I was like, let's play around with this a little bit. Yeah. So,
And this literally pulls out one color. It's like one toe in, but
yeah.
yeah. And the campus is all about crisis. The podcast is all about crisis. And so we're really excited. We're going to lean into that, give you more of what you really seem to like.
Yeah,
And so tune in next week and let us know what you think.
absolutely.
Okay, but this one's been on, this topic has been on my mind and heart for a couple of years, actually.
We've talked about things
Yeah.
similar, or you have before, because you've had other guests on.
We've had other guests on, but I've also had people in my life that have been impacted by this. So a few years ago, one of our close friends called my husband and said, so this just happened to my son. What do we do? And so essentially what it was is he got this cute sex pic of a really cute girl, and it's if you show me yours, I'll show you mine, kind of a thing. And as soon as he reciprocated, it's like, I'm gonna blast this all over the freaking community unless you pay me like $500, $600 or whatever. And he paid them. And then they know once they've got you, they want more and they want more. And he's like saving for college and all the things. And so called, and my husband's just like, no, it's a scammer. Like, they're not gonna do anything.
That's so horrible. Like instant blackmail.
It's terrible. But they convince people. And when then, crisis brain, you can't think clearly, even if it's momentarily, let alone like a high crisis lifestyle. But then it happened to another friend of mine with their two younger children. And so child one, and it happened in a very short window of time. And it was an app that a school person, a teacher or a coach or somebody was using as part of a school communications thing.
Okay.
And this pedo was like tied into, they have access to all these things, and started communicating with this young child through this app that, you would think is safe because it's being used by the school. And basically, I know where you live. Here's your name. Here's your address. I'm going to come kill your parents if you don't do X, Y, and Z.
Ugh.
And so this child started doing X, Y, and Z. And then and again, this was within a very, two-day window that things were escalating. And this child was just beside themselves, thinking that if they told, someone's going to come and kill their parents or hurt them or whatever. Well, then a younger sibling showed up in the frame, like moving past a doorway when videos were going on. And the scammer pedophile was like, hey, back up, get that kid back here, and forced some things to happen amongst the siblings. And it was just absolutely horrific. And they didn't know how to ask for help. And
I think a lot of times those guys are so tricky. They know in advance to tell them, don't even think about going to your parents to ask for help, because
I'm going to kill your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get to them before you do. Like, and at a young age, and same thing, like, I think at any age, when your brain is in that crisis mode because you're panicking.
And you don't have those life experiences.
Absolutely. You don't know what's true and what's not.
No. So it just sends them into crisis. It's just really terrible. So.
Are you ready to re-enter the workforce or find a career that actually fits? Or maybe you're an employer, tired of noisy platforms that miss the mark? Try Focus, a smarter hiring tool that helps you cut through the noise and focus on what matters. Visit focus.work today. That's FOQUS.WORK.
For those of you that don't know, sextortion is exactly what it sounds like. It's a form of abuse when someone, who's usually lying about who they are, by the way, shock, threatens to share sexually explicit photos or video content with the world unless the victim complies with demands. And the demands could be for more content, but it can also include monetary demands and continued contact. They really want to keep their victims on leashes because it's fueling them in whatever sick ways beyond monetary needs, right? And it can happen to anyone. Some of the data we're going to look at today shows how perpetrators target and manipulate children and teens in particular. But I mean, this has happened to adults too. I mean, there's no shortage of these types of situations. It's more so who is the perpetrator of it based on age demographics. So we'll get into that too. So the number of cases of sextortion involving children has dramatically increased in the past few years, according to Thorn, which was a nonprofit that builds tech to help protect and defend children against this type of abuse. 1 in 7 youth victims have harmed themselves in response to being sextorted. And this is more, I keep calling it a scam, but really it's child abuse. And it's become an illicit industry, which is really disgusting to say. Like, it's not just a couple people being taken advantage of. It's a freaking lucrative industry.
Well, even just the whole child pornography industry is alarming. Like, it is, I think it way outseeds like the normal pornography.
It's going to be interesting to see what that segment of the industry does now that AI has become a thing. You know, we were talking about that, how that's like preparing people. Like, I think it's going to, I very, very much fear and believe that it is going to dramatically increase.
I think it's going to make it worse. I think on one hand, people could say, oh, well, maybe it will decrease because AI is taking that on, and so now real children aren't being affected. But I would beg to differ that on a horrible side, it is making it worse. Like, it's going to exacerbate
you remember what Holly Strand said when she was here?
I don't remember. No, because I wasn't here when Holly Strand was here, but I do remember that I listened to it. But I think that, well, here, you tell me what.
What she said is it always escalates no matter what. Like, where you start, it always escalates. So even people who, like, adults who are addicted to pornography, which is a legitimate industry, because of the way the dopamine receptors work in the brain when stimulated by that type of material and content, it's just like any drug, and why you need more. Like, these receptors get worn out, you need more and more and more and more to do it, and so it always starts to go. And she says it'll always end up with either children or like death, like snuff type of porn. Like, so in people don't realize that it is intentional. Their brains are intentionally being manipulated by these industries because there's so much money in it. Yeah. And it's just beyond. Years and years ago, I didn't know what it would be about, but because I had no idea that this kind of stuff even existed. A long time ago, a Nicolas Cage movie, and I think it was called Snuff.
Okay.
That movie scarred me for life.
I won't watch it then.
Do not. It is horrific. There's a couple of them. One was that, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but it involved a sex trafficking ring, and it just was so heartbreaking and so, and I think that one was actually based on, it's called Whistleblower. It's based on a true story. Just the horrors that people are subjected to and live through, and you guys want to tune in and talk about those things. So.
Yeah. It is terrifying to me.
The more we know, I mean, the more we can, raise alarms if something is seeming out of sorts, out of place, or whatever. So by the time we're done with this one, we should all know the signs for sextortion. So, okay. So according to Thorne's recent reports on this, 1 in 6 victims reported sending additional sexual images of themselves because of the threats that they received. 1 in 10 victims said they forwarded sexual imagery of someone else, and 15% report staying in or returning to a relationship with their abuser. And it's, I think, perfectly germane to call these people abusers. 1 in 6 victims said they were 12 or younger when they were first taken advantage of. 1 in 3 victims knew their sextortionist in real life. Often a romantic partner, a school peer, or even a family acquaintance. 81% of victims said the threats occurred exclusively online, like through social media, messaging platforms, some type of apps. And like I said, even those used by schools and sports teams to keep,
for that messaging
connected. Thorne's report also says very few experience threats in person only, underscoring how digital environments are being used to facilitate this harm to our kids. In total, 1 in 5 teenagers, 1 in 5,
that's scary,
say they have experienced this.
Do you think a lot of that has to do with you can't hide from it completely, but being able to hide behind that screen, right?
Absolutely.
Like I don't know what that,
You create layers of insulation
Yeah.
and VPNs and all this stuff. And
it's like a mask, basically. It's strange to me. My brain doesn't really work that way. I don't feel protected. Like I don't feel protected by like being
well,
behind
because
the
you're
screen.
not doing, no,
You know what I mean? Like
you're not putting those things in place.
yeah.
And that's why people like Holly Strand, forensic investigator, are
Well, I even think
learning
of
how
this.
to crack through these things and go find
Yeah.
through the digital trail and find these perpetrators.
But I even think, like, if you're in a room full of people, I find that, like, on a social media thread, for example, and this is a different scenario, but just even in a simple comment section, like how bold people can be online in those instances, in that comment space. Yet, if you had them all in a room together, face to face, most of them probably wouldn't be as bold as they are in those comments.
Absolutely
And
not.
that's where I'm like, what is that? What is that false?
Because there's no body language involved. You don't.
Yes. And maybe you're just letting your emotions
Most
drive, so you just
people
fly
have
off the cuff.
some degree of empathy, right? Where
Yeah.
if like I'm going to say, you really look like shit today. I know it's going to hurt your feelings. I'm not going to say something like that to you because I would get that reaction and then I'd feel like a horrible human being. But when it's just a screen and the people are anonymized and we may or may not know them. I mean, I don't spend time on social media. My husband does. And so occasionally I look over his shoulder and see some of the stuff and it's just like, this is our society. This is our community. Like I want nothing to do with it because it is not, people are not putting their best faces forward.
No.
And exactly to your point, it's just like these reactive, we're not going to think this thing through. And if you think that it's like, not every thought has to be typed out or broadcast.
Yeah.
And also it doesn't go away. It's out there forever.
Yeah.
So careful how you portray yourselves.
Yep.
So anyway, okay. Considering approximately 43% of tweens, 43% of tweens ages 8 to 12 and 95% of teenagers from 13 to 17 have their own smartphones. And with about half of U.S. children getting their first smartphone by age 11, this is not going to go away anytime soon. These numbers are going to continue to go up. So the question then becomes, how do these people find our children so that we can take measures to try to prevent that? It can literally happen on any website, any app, any messaging platform, and games.
Yeah.
How many of us as parents, I mean, thankfully, my kids grew up beyond the smartphone age, but you park your kid with a smartphone where they're playing a game. There are usually messaging capabilities within these games, and people meet, chat. Most often a young person gets a flirty message or an attractive photo from someone who looks to be around their age and their love interest persuasion, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, they like me, and it's just a game on. Makes them feel good. It's exciting, especially you add those puberty hormones to the party.
Yeah.
Things are going to start to flare up. In rarer circumstances, the first contact from the criminal is a threat right out of the chute. And that's what happened with somebody else in my sphere of influence. That person will say they have an explicit or embarrassing photo or video of the child and that they're going to share it unless they do whatever their demands are. And because AI images often look very real, these kids go straight into crisis brain mode thinking that is actually them. And how was that taken? Because it looks like them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they can create anything with AI these days. And so then as soon as they're in crisis, they don't even know, like, is that real? Like, how I don't want that out there. I don't want my parents to see that. And so they don't say anything. Either way, after they have the kid hooked or trapped or however you want to look at that, or have received actual content from them, they begin leveling their threats unless the kid continues to produce more or pays them off. And it's usually the monetary ones that seem to be tied to the increase in deaths by suicide as a means of escaping these predators. And the victims are feeling shame. They're embarrassed. They feel totally isolated. And they don't want to disappoint their parents or their friends. And so they endure these horrific predators in the hopes that they will be finally pleased with them and let them go.
And it never.
No.
There's never an end. Mm-mm. Not in a good way, anyway.
Not unless you just say, peace out. They're usually not going to do anything with this stuff anyway.
No, but they don't usually have the stuff.
Yeah.
And what would they? But that's
unless
where I'm
you've
like,
given it to them, and that's usually when they have you trapped.
Yep.
Yeah.
But even then, I just think of like so often it's like if you gave somebody, even as a teenager, and I'm so taking this out of the context of being a small child doing something and really not knowing any better. If you've got a teenager who thinks they're sending a picture to a friend, don't, first of all. But I mean, even if it legitimately is via text, don't show your parts. Don't show your little bits to people. Don't be taking pictures. But it's like, even in those situations, it's like, I think that it's like, just go, oops, I messed up. And like, talk to your parents.
Yeah. They will protect you.
They will protect you, you know? And it's like, I hope they will protect you. I think most parents would protect you. So it's like, I would rather, it's like, who cares about the disappointment? Who cares about any wrongdoing?
Even my shitty parents, I think, would have protected
absolutely.
me. Yeah.
But that's where I'm like, oh. But it's that, again, it's these, you get into that crisis brain and you're like, you're not thinking straight.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So it's important to understand that there's nothing wrong with the kid in your life if they fall prey to this. They didn't ask for it. They didn't invite it. It's malicious marketing, pure and simple. And for those of you, I don't remember what episode numbers, Kate can probably look them up and put them in the show notes for you guys, but we've had 2 sessions with the Escape Pod where Holly Strand came in and talked about this, and she really drills down into how this is marketing. These types of predators are marketing to your children through these different apps and games and so on.
It's really, both of those episodes are really enlightening.
They're really powerful. Yeah.
They are horrible in the sense, they're hard to listen to, but I think any parent, even teenage, I would probably recommend not to your littles, but like teenagers even, to have them listen to it, just so they're aware of what is lurking out there in the shadows. Because
everybody thinks, okay, ancillarily, I'm aware that that's out there, but 1 in 5?
Yep.
That's 20%. It's going to happen.
That's too much.
To you, it's going to happen to your friends. It's happening. Yep. So the FBI, this is on their radar now. They spread a lot of awareness around this topic. They tell parents how these predators can hide in plain sight. One person they convicted for sextortion was a man in his 40s who was do you want to guess what his profession was?
A tech wizard, I don't know.
A youth pastor.
Oh, no.
And he became a youth pastor specifically so he could learn how teenagers talk to each other. And that way he could mimic the lingo in his social media fake accounts as he reached out to other teenage boys pretending to be a teenage girl.
Oh, that's so gross.
And this cute girl would make them feel special and ask for favors to be captured on video. And then, bam, they were trapped and blackmailed so that he could get what he wanted out of them.
That's horrible.
Youth pastor. Yep. They can hide anywhere. FBI stresses that if this has happened or is happening to you or someone you know, reach out to them and report it immediately. You will not be in trouble. They want to assure you, because you're not the one breaking the law. It's these predators that are breaking the law. And I want to stress that sextortion, it is a serious crime. Mm-hmm. It is illegal for any adult to ask, pay for, or demand any graphic content of a minor, period.
What about minor to minor?
Also, no.
Okay.
Don't do it. And so how can people protect their children and their, in their lives from this? So number one, carefully, please consider what information you share online. Mm-hmm. There are some people and families who post everything they're doing, where their kids are, what their kids are doing, all of that online. These people comb the internet for this type of content. Yeah. And that's how they find their targets, right? I like kids in gymnastics or whatever, and then, my kid was blah, 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 blah. And then they'll hone in on that and then figure out what the school's using, and it's not hard. So if your social media accounts are publicly accessible, talking to you, individuals may be able to attain a lot more information than you may realize you're even putting out there. Number two, anytime you encounter someone online for the first time, teach your kids this. Assume the worst of them. Mm-hmm. Assume they're a predator until they can, prove otherwise. Be wary, be rude, block or ignore messages from strangers. So what if they think you're a jerk or a weirdo? Or at least you're not sextorted.
Oh, well, I
At
get
least you're
weird.
not a victim.
I get weird people, like random requests where it's like, what was one the other day? It was some guy who was like a military police, and it's like, it's a picture of like this reasonably handsome guy in his military police outfit and his daughter's in the back seat in a car seat. So innocent enough picture, but I'm like, I have no idea who the heck this guy is. Why on earth is he friend requesting me? Like, I'm not an influencer. I'm not anything. Like, I'm a nobody. But I'm just like, it's weird little stuff like that where sometimes I think people who fall victim to this innocently enough are lonely. And so they're like, oh, this person has interest in me, whether it's friendly or whatever. Yeah, like it's something where they're seeking connection. But that's where I'm like, don't. Not from a stranger. No. Period. End of story. I don't care what age you are.
You can meet strangers in real life and get to know them, but online?
Not online.
Most people aren't who they say they are.
No.
Number 3, realize that people can pretend to be anything or anybody online.
Yeah.
Videos and photos are never proof that the people are who they claim to be if you're only getting them electronically. And now with AI, that's becoming even trickier. I once had my image from this, so this was pre-AI, but from newspaper articles, because I was in the news a lot, stolen and used for a false ID by someone in Denver claiming to be me.
Oh.
So I'm literally getting ready to go to work. I get a call from an email from a detective, and then I thought that was a scam. So I'm like, So I took precautions. I called the police department in that community and asked for that detective, and he was a real person.
Okay.
And so he gets on the phone, and I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, let me ask you some questions. I'm like, this is weird. And so he started asking me some questions, and then he emailed me, goes, is this your photo? I'm like, that's my photo, but I don't know any of this other stuff is. Yeah. So whoever it was, male, female, other, took my image and was creating a persona around it. And yeah,
that's scary.
So again, number 4, be suspicious if you meet someone on a game or an app and this person asks you to start talking on a different platform. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be suspicious, but you can also just not do it and not put yourself in that place of risk. I lost count of numbers, but 5 maybe?
Yeah, I think you're on 5.
Understand that any content you create online, whether it's a text message, a photo, a video, can be made public and never, ever, ever really disappears ever. So once you send something, you relinquish control over the future of that content. So just don't do it.
Yeah.
And if you have done it, stop doing it. Don't do anymore. Number 6, be willing to ask an adult for help, or a friend, or a law enforcement officer. Yep. Holly Strand, we have her on speed dial. If you're getting messages or requests online that don't seem right, block the sender, report the behavior to the site administrator, go get an adult. If you've been victimized online, do not bear this burden alone. You have to tell somebody, and no one is going to blame you. And then the last one is, if a deal sounds too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Listen to your gut. If someone offers you gaming credits or gift cards or money in exchange for taking a quick pic or a video, it's a predator. It's a predator. 1,000% of the time, it's a predator. So the FBI has interviewed victims as young as, you want to guess?
Oh, I would say 8.
Bingo.
Yep.
Across all ethnic, gender, and socioeconomic groups. And these predators, they don't have a type. It's a numbers game to them. In fact, the only thing they all have in common, internet access. That's it. They are all different. There's no commonality, which makes it a lot harder because we can't target our warnings towards a specific subpopulation. So that's why we all have to become aware of it.
You know, when we talk about this stuff, like every time we bring it up.
And you have 2 young ones.
I have 2 young ones, but like every time I listen to it, the more it makes me want to go back to like Little House on the Prairie.
Right.
Like I'm just like, disconnect all of it. I'm done.
I just need a shotgun.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, predators or coyotes.
That's right. But that's where I'm like, enough is
Nothing
enough.
A shotgun can't fix.
Come on, Mary.
Yeah.
Let's go get them.
Right.
We're not going to have any predators on our land. Yeah, but it's like, just to simplify things, I'm like, my goodness. And where's this going to go? Because I think about how quickly things have changed. So, like, there has been issues with children being taken advantage for a long time, you know, even prior to the internet, right? But
Donna penises, probably.
Probably. Yes. I mean, really, it's just, it's a sick reality.
That was me.
However,
not everyone with a penis is a pedophile.
No.
I'm not saying that.
I didn't think you were.
Okay.
But I just think like, and this is where I always feel like I'm just like bashing the internet left and right. It's got good things. It's just like AI has good things, you know? But it's like when you put it in the hands of evil people.
Well, it's just like, okay, it's like alcohol. Alcohol exposes, it makes people, like, exposes more of what they normally wouldn't show the world, right? When they're uninhibited. Money.
Yes,
People display
crazy.
more of what they are. Internet, I think it just shows us more what humanity is capable of.
Yeah.
And you would think it would work the opposite because everybody's watching. And you know how, like, if you're in a
But
group
it's that
of
weird
people,
veil that I'm telling you.
It's true. Yeah, we're detached because we can't see the people.
Yeah. Not really. It feels like it's an alternate universe, really. Yeah, but that's where we go to find our news. That's where we go to hear about like what's going on around the world today. You know, that's where we go to catch up with our families that are, you know, far.
No, I don't catch up with my family, so I'm good. And my 88-year-old mother-in-law does not know how to use technology, so
So you're good. You could just give it up.
I just give it up. I'm
All
good.
right.
I'll just get it through my kids. The only thing I do, okay, so my daughter will save, it's probably Instagram, reels and videos
Oh, sure.
of funny pet things,
Yeah.
animals. So horses and dogs especially, and she'll just save them and we'll laugh.
Yeah.
Like, Mom, okay, I've got videos for you.
Yeah.
But I don't go seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and even those nowadays, like they used to be so funny because they were real. It was like America's Funniest Home Videos. You know what I mean? Like, and you could tell that they were real. Now I'm like, so often I'm like, it's AI. It's
No,
AI.
it's
It's
such
AI.
bullshit.
And it's like,
what did I see?
super
Okay,
annoying.
so the only time I go look at social media is Facebook when Kate's putting out stuff for all the One Heart things, Homebrew and One Heart and the podcast and all the stuff, and I'll go like things. Well, then I saw like this, and it's the same music, but this video of like, let's say, a whale washed up on shore and it has all these barnacles tied to it, attached to it, and all these people come and try to rescue it. And then the next time it's like a cheetah with the same barnacles and it's the same music and the same stuff. I'm like, all of this is bullshit. Or the one where first it's rabbits jumping on a trampoline and then it's bears and deer, and I'm like,
it's all fake.
it's all fake.
It's annoying to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get super annoyed with it. But whatever.
No, someone said to me, hey, I got to show you this video, and I can't remember what animal it was on the trampoline. I'm like, it's fake.
I know, but that's how many people believe it is what bothers me, I think, the most. Is it's like, I have some discernment, you know, where I can kind of be like, that's fake. You know what I mean? But it's happening even with, like, newsworthy stuff, like stuff that's going on in the world. Like, there's stuff that's being AI doctored, which scares me.
Made reporters' jobs harder.
I'm sure, because they don't know what they're out there searching. They have to be on a quick timeline, and so if they stumble along a really good AI generated thing, that in fact there was one recently with the Minnesota shooting where it was like the Hitler image, and they've got a gun to a guy's head, and then there's another image of the Border Patrol with a gun to that Paredes head, and they're side by side, and it's like, look at what's going on, and it is like just heart-wrenching to see that, because it's just this, I mean, it makes you sick. But when you fact check it, that image that they're using, it's getting people so upset, but it's AI generated, so it's not even from the real.
Well, we talked about that too,
but it's like
the podcast previously.
Propaganda. You know what I mean? And I'm just kind of like, the person who's creating that kind of stuff, when it's just the silly cat videos, that's one thing. But when it's something that is creating absolute disturbing images that are making people so angry and react in a highly emotional way, I think, what is your agenda here?
You know.
Yeah. And so it's the same thing when we go back to the sextortion, and now we're getting into all this AI, and it's like, it scares the heck out of me for what are people going to know. There's the amount of people who believe this kind of stuff without fact checking it first. And that's where I'm like, how many people are going to be prey to these types of things because they're not fact checking it themselves. They're not going, is this true?
Yeah.
Is this real? It scares the heck out of me.
Who has time to do that?
I have the time to do that. I will make the time to do that.
Make the time to do that. Okay. Okay, so even though we can't present prevent 100% of this. Here are some tips. Talk to your kids. We pound that drum all the time. That there is a very real risk of getting put on the radar of one of these scammers. Put limits on your children's internet use. Spot check their phones, their other devices to see what applications they're using.
Check in on them.
And if they're chatting with someone, check it out.
Ask them who they are.
I know I've talked about it before, but we used to use an app called Custodio, Custodio, I think. And we had it on all of our young sons' devices because that was when all these things were popping up. And so then I could get into an app on my phone and I can see everything, every text message, any app he's using, any communications within that app, any internet searches, phone call, like all the things.
Yeah.
And so you can just, that you have access, especially if something happens, then you have a digital record of what is happening, and it keeps things a lot safer. Keep lines of communication open with your child about what is and what is not appropriate for online communications. It also may be worth considering a rule against devices in bedrooms overnight or shutting off Wi-Fi access on the overnight hours. Caregivers also may want to review the settings on a young person's social media accounts with them, because if you can keep your account private, it can often prevent predators from gathering that personal information and getting them in their crosshairs. But above all, let your children know that they can come to you no matter what trouble they have fallen into from these people. And again, I've got them in here. Look at me. Those episodes with Holly Strand.
Good
if you
job.
want to learn more, episodes 57 and 64, she was in here with us, and she is a digital forensic investigator. So with the Internet Crimes Against Children unit with the Rep City Police Department, and that's what she does, is go after these scumbags. So here's a list of questions that can get the conversation started with your kids. So first one, hope you're taking notes. When you're online, has anyone you don't know ever tried to contact or talk to you? Question number 2, what did you do? What would you do if that happened? Question number 3, why do you think someone would want to reach out to a kid online? Get them to think about what those whys are. Number 4, it's easy to pretend to be someone you're not online, and not every person is a good person. So make sure you block or ignore anything that comes in from someone you don't know in real life. And then, has anyone you ever known sent a picture of themselves that got passed around school or a team or a club? Next question, what's possible anytime you send someone a picture? Get them to think about consequences, especially younger kids, because that cause and effect and consequences doesn't really fully develop until
later.
Yeah.
And
then what if that picture were embarrassing? Plant those seeds now before anything happens to them. Can you think about how someone could use that kind of picture against a person? Next one. I read an article today about kids being pressured to send images and videos of their bodies to a person they met online. Have you ever heard about anything like that? Sometimes they are being threatened and harassed. This is very scary stuff. So it's just ways to start those conversations with the children in your life. And then just make sure they know if you're ever feeling like something is going on, online or off, that feels wrong or scary or over your head. My first concern is always going to be to help you. So you can always come to me and make sure that they know that.
Yeah, I think having conversations with your kids is huge. And there's different ways, different ages understand different things. And so that's, I think, the hardest part of it is how do you speak these things to and ask these questions to a 5-year-old versus like a 12-year-old
would fit, right?
Absolutely.
So hey, has anyone you don't know ever tried to contact you while you're playing this game?
Yep. But if the kid goes, what do you mean? I mean, be ready to give.
Or if they can't read yet.
Yeah. Be ready to give examples or, pivot in any way that you can just to help them understand what it is exactly that you're trying to.
They send a picture, like a cute little kid waving at them. Hi, I'm your age. Look at me, I'm nice and innocent.
Yeah.
Instead,
do you have anyone you don't know,
hairy.
And that's where even with kids, it's like, well, my kids are not on anything, they're not on social media. They're not on any of that stuff. But it's like, let's say they're playing one of those games and it does have chat, like Roblox is what I would think of. And they can meet their friends on there, but they can also meet a heck of a lot of strangers on there. And so it's like, do your due diligence as a parent, I think, of checking in on them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Show me what you're doing in this game. Show me whatever, you're building or creating. And then it's like,
Yeah, they don't know a
to
parent's
that,
watching. So if
you
there's
can
a predator
you can
around,
check to see like who are you friends with on here. And I think do even that with social media periodically, like who, my gosh, teenager, you've got 1,500 friends. I didn't realize you knew that many people. Who are all of
or
these
9-year-old.
people? Yeah,
Even scarier.
absolutely. But that's where I'm like, check out who their friends
Do you
are.
really have that many friends? Like,
Yeah. Do you really know these people?
When I get Facebook friend requests, even now, I'm just like, you're not gonna enjoy being friends with me on Facebook. Like, just heads up. I mean,
Don't
I know
friend
you,
request
Alexa,
charity.
but like, just good luck.
Yeah. Well, and I, even when we share different things, like I don't share everything first and foremost. Not everybody needs to know every little thing about our business. Like even the good days. Like it's just not, I don't need to share all of it. I can take pictures and just, guess what? Leave them on my phone for myself.
Yeah.
Or share them otherwise. But if I do share some pictures of us that has me and the girls, Brent, in it, and I take my husband, there are times when, because he's in there, so you can take him, but I'm like, who are all of his friends? And are all of the people that he has as friends, are any of them
Creeps.
possibly creeps that I don't want
Seeing
like,
others,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, for the love of God, not everything needs to be public.
No.
No.
Not so much. All right. So, do you remember when Holly said that if a stranger came to our front door and asked to go to our child's bedroom, we no way
You'd be
let
like,
him
absolutely
in,
not. That's
right?
crazy.
But then we give them smartphones, so we're just like,
Yeah, you're leaving the door open,
Partay.
basically.
Yeah.
It's like you went and put a door
in
to
there.
the outside world on your child's bedroom and just left it open.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we did.
That's like the visual. Like, nope.
I read a report from a grieving father whose son took his own life after sextortion threats, and they were traced back to a Nigerian ring of people. He said, quote, imagine somebody walking into your home in the middle of the night and shooting your son. Well, this person did something even worse than that. He scared him so bad that he shot himself. So she's not kidding when she says this stuff. There was, in one case 2 years ago, a mother lost her 17-year-old son to suicide within 6 hours of coming into contact with one of these predators.
Oh, no.
And the intro was done via Instagram. The bait was a cute girl giving him flirty attention. The hook, she sent him an explicit pic, so he reciprocated. And then the blackmail, and all of it escalated very quickly. He sent them as much money as he could, but when they demanded more than he could give or what they would release the images, he took his own life rather than go to his mother. They even encouraged him to go ahead and do it. Reminded me of like that Conrad Roy and Michelle Carter story.
Yeah.
He said he'd kill himself if they spread the images, and they said, good, do that fast or I'll make you do it. And in less than 6 hours of interacting with these terrible people, this young man was gone. His mother is now a high-profile TikToker raising awareness about the signs and dangers of this.
I hate that. Oh, I hate that for that mom.
I know. That changes your life so drastically.
Yeah.
Now this is your cause. And I mean, good for her for trying to prevent this from happening to other children. But
yeah, it makes me think of like taking a bad situation and turning it into something that can possibly help others, like the Amber Alert thing. But I don't know. And we've talked about this before, but it's that thing of like when these young brains are not fully developed, they can't always understand when they're in these sticky situations that it's okay to tell your parents. That disappointment that you think that they're going to feel for a minuscule amount of time
compared to the rest of your life.
Compared to the rest of your life. Yeah. Like, it's not the end. It's going to be okay. Talk to your parents.
Yeah.
Let them be disappointed. It's okay to be disappointed in yourself. But
that's
it's like
a perfect demonstration, though, of crisis brain, where you cannot future pace.
Mm-hmm.
You can't think forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah, you're stuck in that moment.
What we do here is we get people's brains working in a way in a manner consistent with being able to think, well, if I do this, then that.
Yeah.
And when they're that's all that they can see is this crisis and this, this shame or this embarrassment or these, consequences, mm-hmm. or the fear of killing my parents or whatever it's going to be. But FBI, I've got their number, 1-800-CALL-FBI.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully we can all just commit that to memory. You can also contact your local FBI field office if any of this stuff is going on. I'm going to have a ton of resources in the show notes for this episode. And we will, even though Escape Pod is going away, all those past episodes and back catalog and resources will continue to stay on the website.
Good. Well, thank you for pulling all that. I was hoping that you did.
Thank you for jumping in here when,
Yeah.
as our new co-host. And KB is going to stay with me as we move into Crisis and Consequences. So, with that, we're just going to
sign off. We're going to escape to the Crisis. We're going to escape to the Crisis and Consequences podcast.
Are you looking for an early morning boost or that midday pick-me-up? Check out the Homebrew Coffee Shop, a coffee shop with a cause on the One Heart campus. At Homebrew, you'll find hope for a home in every cup. It's home to delicious coffee, sweet treats, breakfast, and lunch items. It's a great place to meet friends or host small group meetings. Homebrew is located at 201 Kansas City Street in Rapid City. Open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll see you there.
Right.
So
thank you for being on this journey with us. It's been 2 years. We're very excited with where this is going to go, and we think this was all, good groundwork for what's to come. And we hope you guys will hang with us and continue to share and grow it. But
keep following us. We're going to be in the same spaces under a different name. That's all. So it will still be easy to find. And for now, you can still email just because. At Escape Pod. Yep. All that stuff is still up. So if you've got, something for us, go ahead and shoot it our way. Like I said, none of that changes and it will all continue to forward for a little while. So if by chance, you're listening to you find us on episode 36 for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Way back in the day, you're still going to be able to find us for a while.
Good.
Yep.
Okay.
So nothing changes. It'll be under a new name and we're just
excited. They can always
excited.
reach us through the website too,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Which will stay the same. The name's just changing.
Yep.
Okay. Got it.
So everything will still, it's all going to be clicking. Anyway.
Seamless.
Yes.
All right.
That's what we do. All right.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.